Hello, hello, hello. This is Shane Moore with the Texas Live. We've been having difficulties with YouTube. I have for the last hour. I apologize for that. Doing a sound check now. Okay, we've got sound. Great. Okay, Mona, you said I was there, but couldn't hear anything. Okay, let's see. All right, Mike. Thank you for letting me know that. It's been a nightmare, and this is something that happens all the time. It's like the messages that I get. I get a lot of lately. I've been getting a lot of hate mail telling me to shut my mouth and to stop talking about things that I don't understand or things that giving my opinions and theories on things. And I have no clue, but every time it is, I can never start a show on time. Something always happens, and it's just like, it took me 33 minutes, I think, for YouTube to get me on live. And then when I was on, no sound. And I'm showing sound here just fine. I mean, it's so frustrating. It's just unbelievable. So it's I have no idea what's going on, but it's certainly like I said, frustrating. Yeah. Yep. Golden Gloves boxer. I wish that would help, but unfortunately it won't. So let's see. I've got someone here asking about let's see. See, Mike, how did you find the YouTube video? Let's see. Let me send this person the link, and it's just yeah. I'm just so frustrated because I had everything ready, and it's just okay, hold on. Okay, great. I have no idea what's going on, but it's like I said, my ear is so red. I'm boiling inside. And I mean, because I'm prepared, I get everything ready, and then this all falls through due to who knows what, and then it makes me look bad because it's like, well, he can't even start a show on time. So I swear, I mean, I am so man. But like I said, I get a lot of well, lately I've gotten a lot of hate mail. I mean, just blatant hate mail, and telling me to shut my mouth and to stop talking about things that I don't understand, everything. And I mean, people are like really, let me get this right, are like really, they're really upset. I mean, and they're ticked. And just from the just from how hateful they are and the, you know, comments they make. Some of them are like threatening. I mean, you know, to that point, it's like that I must be doing something, you know, must be doing something right, because they're definitely not wanting me to speak about it. They want to shut, you know, they want me to shut my mouth. See, Mike said, yeah, Mike was mine and David's friend in school. He was in the same grade as David. We grew up together, so it's good to see you, Mike. Glad you're here. Thanks for being here. But there were probably many more people that gave up and just didn't, you know, and that bothers me. That really bothers me. I don't even know. I don't know what to say. I mean, man. But anyway, would like to give a shout out to new listeners in Las Vegas, Huntsville, Alabama, Washington, D.C., Tampa, Florida, Irwin, Pennsylvania, and Richmond, Australia. Also new listeners in Belgium, Israel, Ecuador, and Guatemala. So thank you for listening from those, you know, from those places on the globe. Yeah, you did, Mike. We had a lot of fun. We certainly did. But there has been a lot of people that have contacted me about being, you know, targeted because of their because of seemingly of their blood type. And it is well known that your blood type, you know, certain blood types, they have different, you know, characteristics. There's even a diet, you know, eat according to your blood type. But blood types, it goes further than that. It's where it's to the point that that your general, you know, personality, your mood, the way that you view things, there's a lot of similar traits, and it's very, very enlightening, I guess you could say. But it's very strange too, because Mike, you say Shane, you know, if people knew you like I did, even when we were growing up, you always thought outside the box. Well, thank you. Yeah, I was the weird one. And hold on just a second. And but that's you know, one thing about people that have Rh negative blood. I mean, it's like not every person that has Rh negative blood, but for the most part, those that have Rh negative blood, they are very, they think outside the box, have a very vivid, seemingly endless imagination. They have a thirst for knowledge. They're truth seekers, and they have they you know, look at life like, you know, I want to know the truth even when it hurts. I've always said that. And but there's many people that view people that have Rh negative blood as being different, or being, there's a lot of different theories. Some have said that people that have Rh negative blood are of the devil, or that they're hybrids, part, fallen angel, part human. And there's been a lot of people that I've talked to, and they've been worried about, people hurting them or harming them because, they think that they're part alien or, whatever. My view on that is, yeah, that's right, Mike. Big town of Hallsville, Texas. That's where I grew up. It's a very small town, or it was. It's not too small now, but anyway. But that's just it. Is the people that have Rh negative blood, we are different. We're not like, we don't view things the way that, most people view things. And there's some things in this world that I understand, quite a few things actually. But then there's a lot of things I don't understand. I don't get it. And what's strange about that is it's like so many other people do. The majority of people get like the simple things, seemingly easy things, when I don't. And they have no problem. They most never question, getting up every morning, going to work. And not that that's bad or anything. That's not bad. I mean, but it is certainly it's a cycle. It's a repetition. And what do people do? They think they're living life when life is living them. And they think that they're free. Why do you think that you're constantly told that you're free? Because you're not. And if you don't think that you're bound, you don't think that you're not free, well, try deviating from your routine, from your program. And like I say, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying that it is a definite repetitious program that people get lulled into. And what happens is they kind of go through life in a daze. But the last thing that the powers that be, the government, whatever you want to call them, the last thing that they want you to do is to think about that. They don't want you to think about that. They just want you to keep going, keep moving, nothing to see here, move on, don't ask questions. And that's something I learned a long time ago, even in school. I mean, not even high school. I mean, it was like elementary school. Is teachers, those in authority, they like children, they like students that participate, but they don't like students that ask questions, especially questions that they don't have answers for. And when I was in mortuary school, I'm an ex-funeral director, and in Balmer, there was a professor there, and I asked him one time, I said, you seem to have an answer for everything. I said, how do you do that? And he said, well, he said, to be honest with you, he said, if I don't know the answer, he said, I'll just make one up. He said, because I'm not going to be seen as not knowing. He says, when I'm when I'm the one teaching. And wow. With me, I don't have a problem whenever I don't know something or I don't understand something, or I don't have an answer for something, I'll just simply say it. And that's what these, people that have sent me this hate mail and telling me that, I should shut my mouth, and even making like personal insults. When I first, started, I have always had a problem speaking, like a stutter, stammer, whatever. And there are so many people that have listened to the January 17th episode on Spreaker and iHeartRadio and all that, on RH negative blood, the Nephilim, which talked about in the Bible, the offspring of the angels and human women. And there's been over 5,300 people that have listened to that. And most people listen to it. Well, not most people, but there's been some that have listened to it, and they still do. And then they hit me up with these messages and, tell me, you need to shut your mouth. Don't talk about things that you don't know about, things that you don't understand. And, what's wrong with you? Why do you even speak, because you can't speak and all this. And yeah, well, at least I'm doing something productive, or attempting to, when all you can do is, sit in your recliner and eat chips and ice cream and, not help anybody. And that's the main thing is I've had many people that have contacted me that they have RH negative blood. They are different. They've always been different. And it's they feel like that they're outcast, and many are. They're misunderstood. They don't understand things. And it's, they view themselves as being the black sheep, as being wired backwards. I've had some people tell me that, and I've always said that about myself. And I just tell them to, do it the way I do, is view it, wear it as a badge of honor. When people say, you're different, even when they're mean or rude, I know it's hurtful, but the truth is, people, they fear what they don't understand. And many do just that. It's not that they hate you. It's that they just hate what they don't understand, and they don't understand a lot of you, the way you think, your viewpoints, your opinions, your theories on different things. But anyway, I want to get to what we will be talking about in detail. Is tonight is the last podcast that I did on Spreaker, was the many disappearances that are taking place in our national parks, in the United States national parks. And something like 1,600 people have gone missing in the national parks, and some have been found alive, disoriented, or confused, but nevertheless alive. They've been found on high mountaintops, high cliffs, and we're talking about children as young as like 20 months and people as old as 85. So it's very strange, to say the least. I mean, very strange for It's like, how does a toddler get up a sheer cliff? And many times they're found without their shoes, but their feet show no abrasions, no sores or anything, when the terrain is rugged. And so, when you think about that, you do the math. They didn't travel there. They were taken there by someone or something. But most, if they're found dead, there's no visible or explainable cause of death, really. It's like the coroner has a problem discerning what the cause of death was. And then there's some that are never found. They just disappear into thin air, seemingly, and they're never found. Well, I did that episode on that very topic. And lo and behold, I'm doing research for this episode. And what do I find? But I find that very topic, last podcast, about the missing people in our national parks, may be linked to them having Rh negative blood. Go figure. And the reason is let me read this article here and I've had people that have contacted me that say that they're being targeted, that they're being monitored by agencies, governmental agencies. Some are being, I don't know, some are really experiencing a lot of harassment, even people coming into their homes or their residence, very strange things. They wake up with marks on their skin, like puncture wounds. And it's really, really unsettling, to say the least. But they're all rhesus. They're all Rh negative, which means the rhesus negative, the rhesus monkey protein is missing from those with Rh negative blood. And let me read this. The reasons why rhesus negative people, Rh negative people, are being tracked, or possible reasons. Says, I've seen a lot of different posts on different online forums asking questions such as, why would the agencies, and I'm not going to name the name, but they're 3-letter agencies. I'm not going to name those 3 letters because I have already gained their attention. So yeah, but 3-letter agencies of the government. So just do your own, make up your own mind about that. But anyway, why would they be studying Rh negative blood? And why would the government be tracking Rh negative people? Says, this woman says, as a young teenager, I began sensing that I was being closely monitored. Chain of events in my life led me to research the possible reason behind why I was feeling this way. I believe many other Rh negative people have noticed the very same thing going on in their own lives. Not all Rh negative people will notice blatant intrusions in their lives because not all Rh negative people are targeted. Intelligence agencies are interested in a certain carrier of Rh negative blood. They are looking for people who have a complete deletion of the RHD gene.
Excuse me. Nearly all Caucasians with Rh negative blood have a total deletion of the RHD gene. It is extremely rare for Africans and Asians to have a complete deletion of the RHD gene. African and Asian people with Rh negative blood usually always have a RHD gene. It's just inactive. If they do have a deleted RHD gene, it is caused by recent admixture with the Caucasian race. So anyway, the intelligence agencies also prefer Rh negative people who possess the CCR5 delta 32 gene, although this is not mandatory. The mutation is caused, it says the CCR5 delta 32 gene is a mutated form of the CCR5 gene. The mutation is caused by deletion of 32 base pairs normally found on the CCR5 gene. And it goes on. But anyway, what that is, what they say that is, and what they've said for years that is that having that causes people to have a resistance to the HIV virus and other diseases that need the CCR5 protein to enter the cells in order to cause infection. So, that's one reason why. Maybe they're doing research and they want to understand why that some people get HIV and some people are immune to it. And if you're like me, it's like I don't necessarily believe that HIV and AIDS are like natural. I think that they're some kind of bio warfare. You know, they didn't just appear. They didn't just morph or mutate naturally. They were designed. And look at all the victims of HIV, AIDS, that you know that's happened to. And Moni said, "I never thought of it that way." What did you not think of? What way? But it says that she said, "I'm about to share a lot of controversial information. Please don't shy away because this information will be classified as conspiracy theories by the mainstream public." Oh, okay. You say HIV and AIDS. Well, look at it like population control or a type of biowarfare where they're doing tests to see what group of people, which go figure, I mean, the group is homosexual men. I believe that it was designed and it was unleashed or started with I don't know what you would call it, the zero carrier, you know, the first, just one carrier, he's infected with it and he goes to, I mean, just think about how easy that would be. Okay, you can have the HIV virus for like 20 years and never show any signs, you know, that you're sick. And then boom, when it hits, you're sick, very sick. Well, think about that. Think about, and I'm just saying, think about it. I'm not saying, you know, to take my theory or, you know, what I think could have happened and accept it as truth. I mean, do your own thinking, make up your own mind. But think how easy that it would be if you wanted to do research on a specific group of people to see how well that it would get rid of them, that it would take them out. So what would you do? Well, you wouldn't have to do much because the virus itself does all the work. You would just need a carrier. Really, you just need one that would go to, and it's believed that this may have happened, that there was a carrier infected, you know. He goes to San Francisco, New York, and has sex with different men. And those men have, you know, boom. There you go, you know. Yes, Mike. Magic Johnson was HIV positive or still is. But or he was you know, somehow cured, or he doesn't have to worry about dying. I mean, very, very strange to say the least, because it's like, if you have the money, you can live. If you don't, you're going to die. I mean, and man, the price of that medication, the retroviral, it is out of this world expensive, and like insanely expensive. Why do you think that that's the case? I do believe in that there is, you know, an effort to study population control. I mean, look at the Tuskegee experiments, where those men were infected with syphilis, and they were never told. You know, they were in the army, they were infected with syphilis, just to see the effects that it would have on them. It's crazy. I mean, that is so cruel. And then think about, you have Bill Clinton, when he was president, that apologized to the American public for radiation that was sprayed from planes all over this stretch of the U.S. so they could see and study the effects that cancer would have on people. Yeah. Bill Clinton actually apologized to the American public for those experiments that were done. And that's not theory, that's truth. Look it up. And you know what? It's too late. You're going to apologize for something that has caused so many deaths, has caused so many cancers, and caused so many people suffering. You know what? I don't accept your apology. I don't accept anybody's apology that does something like that. So, wasting your breath. Yeah, that's just horrible. But back to this. Why would they do that? Why would they have that gene? Or why would they be interested in people that had that CCR5 Delta 32 gene with those missing base pairs that somehow make you resistant to the HIV virus? Because they want it. They want, and they probably have it. They probably do. But the only thing is it probably doesn't work in people that are, say, Rh positive. I have no idea how that works. But anyway, you can see where I'm going with that. And I think it makes sense that that they want to protect themselves from the virus that they cause, because it's not only men that die, it's women, children. I mean, very sad. But anyway, so this woman says, she said that she's going to share a lot of information that was once classified top secret. She says, I'm only sharing what I've researched and found to be truthful. Please further research anything you read in this article so you can decide for yourself what is or isn't factual. And that's what I always say. Do your own math. Make up your own mind. And people have written me and they're like, you don't have proof of that. Well, no, I don't. I'm giving you my opinion, and I have that right to do so, just like I welcome your opinion. They want to give their opinion, but then they want me to shut my mouth and not give my opinion. Well, it doesn't work that way. And if it rubs you further wrong way, turn the cat around. It's not different strokes for different folks. What works for you works for me. What you're privy to, I am too. Your rights, you have rights, I have rights. And for you to try to shut me down, it's not going to happen. So anyway, this gets into some very strange, strange is not the word for it, but it gets into the eugenics program that Hitler had. Joseph Mengele, the angel of death, that did all the experiments at Auschwitz. And he was obsessed with twins and genetics and, different things like that. That is what this is about. Even in the Bible says, God says, the life is in the blood. Well, when he says that, what he's talking about is that the life force is in the blood. Talking about the DNA. And that's where it all is. That's the deal. Is it all comes down to your DNA. And some people who are Rh negative, we do have some quite a bit different DNA structure than most other people. Now, does that mean that we're bad? No, it just means we're different. Does that mean we're aliens? No. But even if that was the case, even if we were some kind of hybrid, part human, part alien, and I'm just throwing this out there. My view is if a person is kind to me, respects me as a human being, and respects others, and basically lives by the golden rule, even if they were a hybrid, even if they were part alien or part something else, you know what? I wouldn't hate them for it. I'd still be their friend. And that's just, it would make no difference to me if they were total alien. Hey, if you're my friend, you've got a friend for life. And but not everybody's that way. So That's what's sad. But anyway, this goes into the MKUltra mind control also, because that's what Joseph Mengele was into. That's what he did. And that Project Monarch comes from the monarch butterflies that fly from, that migrate from Mexico to Canada, Canada to Mexico, and then Mexico to Canada. And during the migration, they die. But the ones that are born on the way, they somehow have that knowledge of where they need to migrate to, and then migrate back, which is pretty astounding when you think about it, because we're talking about, we're talking about some kind of memory. Well, what kind of memory would that be? It would be genetic memory. And that's something that I believe in. I do believe in genetic memory. And I think that that's where a lot of our dreams come from. I think that it's where, I don't know, it's very strange. It's very hard to describe, but I think that it affects us on many levels. So, but anyway, people who have Rh negative blood, they are usually okay, hold on, usually very in tune with themselves spiritually. They are very spiritual, but not religious. They don't particularly like organized religion or spirituality. Free thinkers. And I've always been a free thinker. And let's see the traits of Rh negatives. And then I'm going to give you my some things that I wrote about Rh negatives, and I would like to know those who agree with me and those who don't. Anyway, well, okay, here we go. It says they prefer facts over opinions. Like I said, they're truth seekers. They feel separate from others. Yeah, alone. Feel alone even in a crowd or even in their own family. They struggle to form friendships. They don't have many friends. Or, people have close friends, many close friends. That's not the case with most Rh negatives that I've talked to. And it's not been the case with me. Been a few, close friends that I've had, but not many. I'm not one to trust, I guess, or kind of hard to explain, but I've always kind of been a loner. It says people, the Rh negative blood, are highly intelligent. Their intelligence often comes across as being rude, arrogant, or cocky to others who don't understand them. It says they experience unusual encounters. They experience unusual events. And they have a high degree of empathy. Right. Right, Mike. Yeah. That's right. Yeah. Him, Dwayne. Yeah. But it's, it's like in my life, I mean, it was like I could, take, I mean, I could have, friends or not have friends, and I would be the same. Um, Many people, they have to have friends. They have to have people around them. They have to have many people around them. I don't. Um, Never have. So, not to say that I don't enjoy people. I mean, I do, but I can also be by myself too. I mean, so anyway, but this would be the main thing, is that they have a high degree of empathy, very, very high. It can be so strong in some that it can cause them to become physically ill. They also have high levels of intuition, just a knowing. Um, they just, they, feel something. Most people feel something, or they sense, something's going to happen. With most, with some RH negatives, it's like they know. It's like they don't think, they know, because it's a feeling that is so strong that it's almost like that it's already happened. So, talking about intuition, it's like the wireless, it's like the World Wide Web of consciousness. Very strange. It says these personality traits also help people be able to sense the truth in others, even if that person is attempting to masquerade as something or someone else. That's like when people are lying to you, or most that I've talked to, they know when someone has a good heart. They know when someone's a good person. They also know when someone's a bad person, or someone is not on the up and up. So it's they know when something's off, and they've learned to listen to their intuition. Wait. It says they have one major phobia. Now, I don't know about that, but says that many have a fear of heights. Well, yeah, duh. Yeah, I do not like heights at all. So, it says anything that puts life out of their own personal control becomes something that could become a minor or major phobia one day. And it says that it's not unusual for people with RH negative personality traits to frequently struggle with depression, anxiety, and other forms of mental illness. Depression is quite common within this population group. Many individuals can find a family history of mental illness that includes at least one person from their immediate relatives, such as mother, father, or sibling. So a lot of times this depression and anxiety comes from that high level of empathy, when you not only absorb another person's feelings, but you can read between the lines. You can feel and sense their true intentions, and a lot of those intentions are not good. And that's why that people with a high level of empathy are called empaths or sensitives, because they're very sensitive to intent and plans of others. So anyway, so says people with RH negative blood are comfortable in isolation. Like I said about myself, I can have people around me, or I can be by myself. It's most people with this personality trait will form a deep bond with a spouse, lighter bonds with certain friends, and then brush off random acquaintances. Anyway, but what they talk about is that a lot of RH negatives have they have very vivid dreams. I guess you could say that their intuition is so high that it's so powerful that they sometimes they have visions, or they know things that are going to happen, and kind of like, like a sense of, deja vu, of, having already been there, done that, or seen it. It's very strange. But this is why that some people that are RH negative, why that they are monitored by these government agencies. When you look at Project Stargate, or Project Project Jedi, no kidding. It was a project within Project Stargate from 1981 to 1984 to create a psychic super soldier. And what they were doing was they were remote viewing. And if you don't know what that is, it is when a person can think about or focus on a certain place, coordinates, and their mind, consciousness, can travel there. And there's been books written about it, and the U.S. Army even trained people in it, in doing it. And for wartime or whatever, yeah, I mean, you have somebody, you have a soldier that can do that. Well, what does that mean? Well, that means that he doesn't have to physically go behind the enemy lines. He can do it all, do it in his mind or spiritually or whatever. And this is not theory. This is fact. This has been documented. Freedom of Information Act. It's there. It was done. And look up Major General Albert Stubblebine. He was a major proponent of Project Stargate and psychic warfare from 1979 to 1984. He initiated Project Jedi within Project Stargate, which he commanded from 1981 to 1984 to create a psychic super soldier. So, when you think about that, from 1979 to 1984, wow, that's a long time. See, 79, that would be 40 years. So think of all the advances that we've made in technology, in knowledge, and how knowledge has increased. Probably can't imagine what's possible now. So, I mean, they were doing this back 40 years ago with the remote viewing, and it's been documented, and there's, those that are still doing it. What makes the RH negative people stand out is just that their high level of intuition, their high level of empathy, opens them up or gives them the ability to be more proficient and more successful at remote viewing, at things like remote viewing. And so it says the agency concluded that there was no case which, it says, sorry, I read the wrong. It says through the Freedom of Information Act, the system released 12,000 files totaling 89,000 pages of material, declaring that this was all the research ever conducted within Project Stargate. So it's something that really happened. And they would target, or they would enroll many people that showed signs of high levels of empathy, intuition, those who were spiritual. They say religious, but they're talking about those who were spiritual, those who thought outside the box, those who not only thought outside the box, but didn't really stay in the box. They could travel out of the box in their mind, spirit, whatever. Those who had a high level of imagination, which, talking about the traits of most RH negatives that I've talked to. And this is what this says. So it says that that's why that the military sector is interested and monitors RH negative people. And I will say that those who have contacted me, two of them I haven't heard from in months. So I don't know if they're still around. I haven't seen anything online from them. Who knows? But they were telling me that they were being targeted and being harassed and all kinds of things. That, they had, their home had been invaded or, broken into. But anyway, this goes back to the to World War II with Hitler and his SS troops, and the studies that they did on genetics, looking for the Superman, and looking to create what they saw as the perfect race. But this is, something that is mentioned here in this article that shocked me, is it talks about the research of David Paulides that I talked about on my last podcast, who wrote the books 411 about the people that go missing and continue to go missing in the national parks. It did cross my mind that one of the reasons that these people might go missing is because of that, because they were Rh negative. And lo and behold, in this very article, it says that this woman, she says that she thinks that that's the case because they're looking for people who think outside the box, who can travel outside the box, and God only knows what they want with someone like that. But those who seemingly vanish into thin air, never to be seen again, where do they go? You know, what happens to them? How does it happen? It's like there's footprints, there's tracks, and there's just no more tracks. Dogs, bloodhounds are searching for these people. They pick up their scent, they're on the scent, and they stop. No more scent. It's like where the footprints end, or whatever the scent ends too. It's like that person and even their scent disappeared. Okay, that doesn't make sense, does it? Unless they were, taken up. Even if they were taken up into a helicopter, let's just say that. What would that mean? Well, their scent would still be there. But if they somehow, and this is very strange, but if they somehow entered into a portal, like a interdimensional portal, boom. That's what I read when I read the different accounts. Most of these people, they were looking at the person or the child that, disappeared. They took their eye off of them for a second and looked back and they were gone. Or there was something off the trail, or something in the woods that caught the person's attention, and they stepped off the trail or stopped to look, and next thing you know, they're gone. Very strange. And what backs this up too is that for the most part, these people that go missing, they're at the opposite ends of the spectrum intellectually. It's like you have doctors, lawyers, physicists, even psychiatrists, psychologists that have gone missing. Very intelligent, very intellectually intelligent. And then you have, on the opposite end, you have children and people who were developmentally challenged, people who had Down syndrome, people that were had mental problems, but there's a common trait, there's a common thing between all of them, and I believe that was that's been that they all seemingly had a good heart. They were good people, and had that spark, that power. You know, whether they were a child with Down syndrome or developmentally challenged, or they were very intelligent, doctor, lawyer, whatever. They had that. I don't know what you would call it, but they had that, I don't know, love in their heart, that simplicity, that innocence, maybe. And I'm just going to go out on a limb and say that I believe that most of these people that have gone missing, never to be found again, are probably people who have Rh negative blood. Because they're looking to train. It says super soldier, and wow, excuse me, but on two of these cases, there have been people that have witnessed the Green Berets showing up, the Army, for a missing child. Was a missing boy in 1969, a missing boy in 1971. The Green Berets show up, and they're armed, and they're going through the national park, through the woods, looking for this child. Why are they armed? And it's been said that it was a matter of national security. How could a missing child be a matter of national security? But that would be one explanation, is I think there's much more going on than we can possibly imagine. Who knows? But could it be a portal? Could it be something like that? And could it be that there's certain things within person's blood who has Rh negative blood that somehow activates these things? Or excuse me, are they potentially, I don't know, how could they be a threat, a national threat? Maybe I'm just brainstorming here. Maybe they're the ones who can open like a dimensional portal. Maybe they do that. Maybe they create their own portal, maybe not even knowing it, maybe not even realizing it. And possibly the reason why that the Green Berets are called in, the Army's called in, is to close it. I have no idea. But this woman talks about how important the DNA is to these agencies, and very much so. Which is why that now there's this push to send in your DNA online, pay the money, do the swab, send it in. But people say, well, they already have your DNA. When you're born, they take a blood sample, that's your DNA. Why do they want it now? They've already got it. Yes, they already have it. But they want to compare your DNA now your DNA when you were born to see if there's any latent DNA that you've activated. And if you have, you can rest assured you're going to be targeted. That's what they want. They want to know how to activate or use the 97% of what they call junk DNA because they don't understand it. I say it's junk. It's useless. They can't read it. They want to know how to read it because obviously there's a lot of power there. There's a lot of power that they can't decode or they can't read. And they want to know how someone activates the latent DNA or junk DNA. Very much so. One thing that I find very interesting is that 97% of the human DNA is junk DNA. It's not understood. It's actually called dark matter. They call it dark matter. Okay. 3% is what the human genome is made of. So I think it's very surprising, very telling that the universe, the visible universe, is only 3% of the entire universe. The rest of the universe is made up of what? Dark matter. What? Same thing with DNA. So, this is very strange, but could it be that the universe is somehow inside of us, just as we are in the universe? What about that? That's mind-blowing. What if that's something that's telling us that we're not only in the universe, but the universe is within us? Could that be what Jesus meant when he said, you search for the kingdom of heaven? He says, don't you realize the kingdom of heaven is within you? Is he saying, don't you realize the universe is within you? Think about the power that would give people if the universe was inside of you. If everything was based on a pattern, which I believe it is. I don't know, it's going to shock a lot of people, but I believe that it's a blueprint. It's a pattern. You've heard the saying, as above, so below. As above, excuse me, the universe, so below the human. The DNA, the life force. What is DNA? DNA is information. It's data. It is a form of code this is strange, but it's the truth. It is a form of a computer code, but it's a highly advanced computer code. DNA is. It is similar to the code that Claude Shannon invented or discovered, actually. We'll say invented in the 40s, which is the basis of modern computing. Claude Shannon. And there have been things, discoveries that have been made by a Dr. James Gates. You can look him up too. James Gates, Dr. James Gates, physicist. He found that there are error correcting codes, just like your computer browser has, that are not only responsible for matter reality, but DNA, they're not just responsible for it, but they are a part of it. The code isn't just used to read what it is. It's actually the book and the meaning of the book too. And I happen to believe that DNA is what's called the book of life. So, yeah, that genetic memory, everything has been, yeah, me too. I don't know, Mike. I would probably say it was RH negative. Yeah. Yeah. He and I miss him. Man, great guy. But so it's like when you think about that, could it be that people that have RH negative, that it's actually their DNA and not their blood that's so different, that's so important? And could this 97% of junk DNA or dark matter actually be a blueprint or pattern of what the universe is? And I find that very, very strange, is that it's the same percentage. 97% of the universe is dark matter and only 3% is visible. So once again, with the dark matter, the junk DNA, what if that was activated? What if that was fully activated? Could it be that would be the universe in you while you're in the universe? And just to take things out really far, what if that was what the Big Bang was? What if it was? What if it was someone who activated their DNA 100%? Boom. Who knows? Maybe that's what maybe that's what God is. Maybe someone that activated their 100% of their DNA. Who knows? I mean, who really knows what it would be, what it would do? It would certainly make you powerful. So powerful, it can't even imagine. Because look at what people have done since with just 3%. Mike, you say he was always nice to me, very friendly. When I saw him when I was in my 30s, he came right up to talk to me. Yeah, he was very, very nice. very, very nice to me too. And was yeah, proud to call him my friend. Yep, good guy. Didn't take anything off anybody. And but yeah, he was always for the seemingly always for the underdog. And that's another trait of people that have RH negative blood. They can't stand to see injustice. They can't stand to see people or people or things, animals suffering. So, but there's some that are bad and some that are good. People say, well, you're talking about talking about the devil or whatever. No, just like there's good people and there's bad people. As far as RH positive, RH negative, there's good people, there's bad people. There's good and bad and everything. So that's just how it is. That's just life. Anyway, so many people say that the I talk about the Illuminati, the bloodlines of the Illuminati, and the Astor bloodline, the Bundys, the Collins, the DuPont, the Freemans, the Kennedys, the Lee, the Onassis, the Rockefeller, the Rothschild, the Russell, the Van Den, and the Merovingian, which is 13 bloodlines of the Illuminati, supposedly. I find that very telling because there's the 12 tribes of Israel, 12 bloodlines of Israel, whatever. And then with Joseph, or the 12 sons of Jacob, who later became Israel, 12 sons became the 12 tribes. But Joseph, who was a prototype of Christ, was, his brothers, they threw him into a pit and left him there, and then he was sold into slavery. He was replaced, his tribe was replaced by 2, which would equal 13, just like the supposed bloodlines of the Illuminati. So many people, they don't know that John D. Rockefeller Sr., that he was very much into genetic testing and wanted to learn all he could, or wanted to research the power of genetics, of DNA to be known, blood type. Very, very interested in the power that people had. And go figure. I mean, he's John D. Rockefeller, one of the richest men that ever lived, one of the most powerful men that ever lived. Let's see what this says. Anyway, it's it says that that the Rockefellers actually funded Hitler's eugenics program and studies on mind control and DNA and twins and things like that. And they were searching for the mental connection, for the spiritual connection with twins, and after all, twins have the same DNA, so that's why twins were so popular to Hitler. And then she goes on to say that, like I said, the man by the name of David Paulides has been researching the mysterious disappearances of people in national parks and urban areas. And when you get down to the different things, to the different similarities in the victims, it's very unsettling. But David Paulides requested information from the National Park Service, the NPS, under the Freedom of Information Act about the missing persons. He was told that there weren't any records. He kept pushing to try to get the information about national park disappearances. By law, because he's a published author, he is entitled to an exemption from any fees associated with obtaining the records from the NPS. I don't know about that, but anyway. Later, an attorney representing the National Park Service called David and questioned him on why he wanted the information. Then the attorney told him that the National Park Service would not waive the fee associated with obtaining the records. Says that he was told that if he wanted the records from Yosemite National Park, it would cost him $34,000. And if he wanted records from all of the national parks, it would cost $1.4 million. The records that David requested and was told did not exist apparently cost over $1 million to obtain. It is clear that the government does not want this information out. David has also begun investigating disappearances in populated urban areas. He has found odd, reoccurring similarities between the disappearances, so much so he's been able to come up with a profile. And this is the details of some of his profile. The victims are college-aged men, usually between 18 and 24, although one was 31. And this is not all the cases, but because, like I said, there's been a little boy in 1969, 6-year-old boy, and then 1971 there was an 8-year-old boy. So the victims are usually top scholars and athletic. Many are attending university on athletic scholarships. The victims are mainly white, and many are of German descent. The victims are often religious or spiritual. They have a connection, spiritual connection, knowledge. They believe they believe outside the box. They're not set, in the box. The victims typically disappear in the fall or winter months while attending school. They often disappear on or around holidays such as Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's. Prior to disappearing, the victims are often attending a party, bar, or other populated public place where they're usually seen being approached by strangers. While at the bar, the victim appears to be intoxicated very fast, faster than usual. At some point while at the bar, party, etc., the victims become separated from their friends. And that's the main that's the main point that I saw or that I read about, that I noticed, is that somehow, some way, they were always separated from their family, their friends. The victims tend to get off on foot in odd directions, away from home, whatever. The victims disappear without any witnesses, and their disappearances are never caught on security cameras. They are generally reported missing very quickly. They go missing for a period of time, while others are never found. During the search for the victim, the cadaver, dogs are often unable to track a scent. It's like they lose the scent. And some of the dogs, bloodhounds, all different types of tracking dogs, but actually like whimper and cry in fear and hide and refuse to search. That's like, what would cause that fear? I mean, very strange. Very unsettling to even think about what would cause a bloodhound or a huge dog like that that they thrive on that. They thrive on that, on the hunt, and they're not going to do it because they're afraid. Wow. A few victims are found unconscious or barely conscious and are unable to recollect what happened to them. The victims are most often found dead in a body of water. They often have missing shoes and other articles of clothing are missing. But most of those cases, the shoes are missing for some reason. The area where the victim is found is often searched extensively numerous times prior to finding the victim. It's as if the victim just appears out of nowhere. Their bodies tend to have no signs of trauma or typical signs of a struggle. Their bodies show no signs of foul play, and coroners tend to have a hard time finding the cause of death. The FBI and other agencies, such as the Green Beret Special Forces of the United States Army, show up to investigate some of the cases, even before there's any evidence of a crime. The Green Berets, it's just been twice, like I said. They're talking about the FBI has started monitoring, showing up on these cases and monitoring them for some reason. It says people who do witness something strange related to the disappearance are usually questioned by the FBI and other agencies, but their testimony is never found in the official report. Anyway, this woman that's writing this, she says, I believe these deaths and disappearances are caused by certain agencies who are working on classified programs. I believe that people are being abducted to see whether they are suitable for recruitment. Well, my theory would be if that's the case, then maybe so. But they're also being abducted for research and study to understand, like I said, maybe how latent DNA is activated, or why that they're seemingly immune to things like HIV and AIDS. Who knows? The ones who aren't suitable are found dead or barely alive, and the ones who are suitable will never be seen again. So, it says David Police has found geographical clusters where the disappearances are occurring. What I find interesting is there seems to be a correlation between the disappearances, where the disappearances are occurring, and where known military bases are located. And it is if you take the map of where all these people have gone missing in the national parks, and you put it over a map of known military bases, it's like boom. It's like a match. Very interesting. Very creepy too. But that's what this is. This is what she's saying, is that that's what they are interested in. That's what they want to exploit, expand, and work with, are people that that they can use for, like I said, things like the remote viewing. And it's like, many of these people, they probably never thought that they could do something like that. It's like, people that they don't see their own power that they have until the lights turned on, until somebody shows them, or somebody teaches them. And that's just it. In closing, I would like to just give you something to think about. Is and you can let me know. You can send me an email at thetextusispodcast@gmail.com if you want to talk further about this, or you have your own experiences of weird activity, or even being targeted or harassed or whatever. But correct me if I'm wrong, but most RH negatives feel they are different from the rest of the world. They feel they have a mission in life, but are unsure of what the mission is or where to even begin. They possess many traits, talents, and abilities, including a great degree of empathy and spirituality. They're compelled to begin their life mission, but prevented from doing so by fear. Lack of understanding always produces fear, which keeps one in the same place. Understanding is the key to eliminating fear and personal growth. No teacher is needed to impart this knowledge to anyone. It's always been within you, and you've always felt it. What is needed is someone to provide support, encouragement, and guidance as you learn to understand the knowledge that you already have within you, as well as interaction with others on the same journey. Because the truth is, we all learn from each other. So anyway, I'd like to thank you all who did show up. Mike, thank you for being here. Mona, and hopefully next week it won't be as troublesome as it was tonight. But anyway, you can go to the Spreaker website. Just type in www.spreaker.com/show/the-texorcist, and you will come to the website of the show, and be sure and follow me there, and then you will receive notifications when new shows are started. And I'm going to put that here on the chat. There you go. And but that would yeah, I mean, you can just go to Spreaker, and once you click follow, you will be notified of when that for new shows and everything like that. And so you be sure not to miss a podcast, which I do a lot more podcasts than I do this each week. So anyway, if you have any questions, or you need to contact me, or you just like to talk about your experiences, possibly be a guest and share what's happened to you or what's going on with you, you can contact me once again at the texarcistpodcast@gmail.com. Again, thank you all for being here, and hopefully next week on YouTube it won't be so bad. So, Mike, it was good to see you, and definitely we will have to catch up. We definitely will. Love and light to you all. Love you all. Good night from Texas. See you next time.